Hello, everyone. My name is KarthikYajurvedi. I'm a VP of Software Engineering at Financial Services Firms. It's nice to meet you all. Today, I'll present a proposed plan of action for OpenSea, a leading NFT marketplace in the Web3 and e-commerce. To start off, let's look at the market landscape of Web3, NFT, and blockchain and their projected growth over the next decade. Using research from verified market and precedents, the CAGR, or the compound annual growth rates, are around 34% for NFTs, 66% for blockchain, and 46% for Web3. That looks pretty healthy. Now let's drill down and look at how NFTs have done over the years and some of the challenges associated with it. The graph here shows how NFTs grew slowly from 2019 and skyrocketed during August 2021, growing about 400% in transaction volumes from the previous month. The volume shot up from 1.3 billion USD to 4.3 billion USD. There was another high in January 2022, where monthly transaction volumes peaked at 6.1 billion USD. There was a big drop in June 2022 when volumes were just 900 million USD. And as of last month, July 2024, it is just under 300 million. So as you can see, there is a lot of volatility as well as linkage to the ups and downs of cryptocurrency. Then there is security and trust that is so critical for healthy growth of any market. For NFTs, it hasn't been that great, with breaches, multi-million-dollar losses, wallet thefts, and insider trading. That's a segue into regulations. So what do we have currently in the regulatory landscape that could improve trust? Unfortunately, there is none available that is applicable globally. Some countries have outright bans, while others have provided general guidelines. In other words, regulatory uncertainty is what there is. And then there is the environmental concerns, with cryptos requiring considerable amounts of electricity, allegedly exceeding usage of some countries. Let's further drill down into OpenSea, the company that we are assessing and coming up with a plan for. Founded about 7 years ago as a pioneer in the NFT marketplace, OpenSea has grown to be a prominent, well-known brand with first mover advantage. Diverse offerings with 2 million plus collections, 80 million plus NFTs that includes digital art and collectibles, and a cumulative trading volume of 20 plus billion US dollars. They have a large user base of artists, creators, collectors, and traders. They've enjoyed several peaks. By November 2021, it already had 1.8 million active users. In Jan 2022, it was valued at $13.3 billion. In May 2022, its volume was 2.7 billion transactions. OpenSea is compatible with 9 different blockchains, giving more choice to customers. And not just customer-centric, OpenSea has taken care of its employees and is on Built-in's top 2024 best places to work. Having said that, everything has not been rosy. There have been security breach incidents, counterfeit NFT copycats, and insider trading. They've had to weather backlash from Web3 diehards whenever they censored, removed, or gatekept, as that flies in the face of Web3 democratization. OpenSea has been caught between a rock and a hard place when enforcing or relaxing creator royalties, either angering the traders on one side or artists on the other. As to current competitors, there is Blur, Magic Eden, Rarible that have grabbed OpenSea's market share. In future, there could be big tech entrants like Meta, TikTok, online gaming giants like Epic, or auction houses are potential competitors as well. And OpenSea also has had to go through its share of layoffs to adjust to market conditions. These are graphs with one of the competitors, Blur. As you can see, the top one shows how OpenSea has led in the monthly trades for a few years before Blur started grabbing the market share in January 2023. Bottom one shows how OpenSea's fees are a lot higher than Blur and may need to revisit its pricing strategy. Now that we have seen the context and discussed the recent challenges, what is the problem at hand to solve for OpenSea? Well, it is to increase mass adoption, profitability, and position the company for future success. As an approach, we used two strategic tools, the SWOT analysis and a 2x2 scenario planning to do the assessment. Quickly, SWOT stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Strengths are what the company excels at and separates it from the competition. Weaknesses are what is stopping the company from performing at its optimum level. Opportunities refers to favorable external factors that could give the competitive advantage, and threats refer to factors that have the potential to harm an organization. For OpenSea, strengths are prominent player, been around for a while, good brand and name recognition, diverse offerings, large user base, compatible with a large number of blockchains, provides nice user experience that is constantly improving, and a smooth onboarding process. Weaknesses are higher fees, high gas fees, escalating environmental concerns, unclear stand on creator royalty enforcements, competitor airdrops luring OpenSea customers away, non-compatibility with Bitcoin ordinals that is growing in popularity, liquidity concerns, liquidity conditions, not as strong that affects transaction volumes. Opportunities. Gaming and metaverse growing steadily could bring stable revenues. Music, fashion, luxury brands, and ticketing events has the market to capitalize on. Digital NFTs that represent the combined physical and digital assets can be used in supply chain and real estate. Partnering with DApp and DeFi could open up possibilities for various verticals. Collaboration with regulators to come up with a framework together and establish community leadership with a DAO setup could help in establishing trust in the industry. Threats. NFT market has considerably cooled down since its heydays and seems like there is saturation. OpenSea needs artists and collectors who are there for the long term, not just speculative traders. Regulatory uncertainty and environmental impact of crypto is big enough risk that needs to be planned for. Security, trust, and safety issues have tarnished the reputation. Perceived complexity of crypto world could make users lose interest. And this may be a few years out, but quantum computing could potentially break the current cryptographic implementations. The 2x2 scenario is a strategic tool used to create plausible alternative stories about the future. After listing out many uncertainties for OpenSea, we consolidated them into two main ones. NFT market growth that could be low to high, shown vertically, and regulation that could be strict to favorable, shown horizontally. This constructs 4 quadrants. Let's start with the optimistic top right quadrant named Boom Time that has high NFT market growth and favorable regulation. It means higher volumes and larger user base, further diversity in NFTs, high valuation for OpenSea. But on the flip side, it could see increased competition, new competition. Moving to the left top quadrant titled Regulated Growth, it falls with the high market growth but stricter regulation. Highly regulated areas like licensed and verifiable NFTs will be the viable use cases. This will lead to partnerships with players that have compliance built in as a way to grow. We'll see higher operational costs to meet compliance, and will need to collaborate with regulatory bodies to influence policy development. Moving down the matrix, the bottom right quadrant called the niche market involves low market growth and favorable regulation. This means market capitalization, this means market saturation and lower user interest. Focus needs to be on community building and education to rekindle interest and awareness, and capitalize on niche areas that still thrive and add specialized features to increase value. The bottom left quadrant is the NFT bust, or the doomsday scenario where there is low market growth and strict regulation. Signifies a shrinking market and calls for implementation of efficiency improvements and cost reductions, embracing new business models, pivoting to related technologies, and preparing for consolidation within the industry will be the norm. It is hard to pinpoint which quadrant OpenSea is currently in. Perhaps we see more evidence in the niche market quadrant. Hard to tell. Anyways, any of the above scenarios are plausible, so the plan needs to be balanced and we incorporate key pieces of each. Here is a proposed plan of action. In addition to the strategic tools we just discussed, the learnings from our Harvard FinTech course has also been incorporated. Plan comprises of initiatives in three main areas. One, retain existing customers and increase adoption of their winning products. Two, deal with it head on and make progress to resolve the security, trust, and safety issues plaguing the industry. Three, expand to new markets and solutions. Let's start with the first one. Keeping and growing customers will need improved UI UX and onboarding. Like we saw in the Pay Nearby case, removing barriers to adoption and ease of use will make OpenSea stand apart from its competitors. OpenSea is sitting on a lot of usage data that it could derive insights from to further improve its products, similar to how we learned from the PayPal case. Pricing competitiveness is important. While OpenSea's high fees is due to high Ethereum gas costs, it should adopt more of a proof of stake and other technology approaches to reduce this. Handling the issue of creator royalties, the competitor airdrops, luring away customers, and community building and partnerships with decentralized autonomous organizations would strengthen its position. Offering Bitcoin compatibility with perhaps an acquisition will make it a full-fledged NFT marketplace, offering more customer options. The second one is about bringing trust back into the NFT ecosystem and OpenSea. Follow a stakeholder capitalism approach like we saw in the PayPal case, where value is created not just for shareholders, but also for stakeholders, including regulators, merchants, suppliers, and employees. Create a regulatory sandbox like we saw in the DIFC Dubai case to innovate on IP rights, consumer protection, legal, tax, and environmental concerns. Like what PayPal did, use data available for both creators and traders in a compliant way to identify fraud and copycats. The third item in the plan is to expand to new markets and solutions. As markets seem to be saturating, OpenSea should dig a moat around its existing niche. And like we saw in the Pay Nearby case, innovate and expand with dApps into new verticals and brands. Online gaming is a steadily growing industry, and customers like FC, Madden could be great customers. Strengthen on supplier side and sign up with big celebrities, fashion and luxury brands with fan token development. AI-generated NFT art is an up-and-coming area to be looked into. Ticketing companies for NFT-enabled priority ticketing, early entry, and merchandise discounts should be tapped. Supply chain and real estate use cases where physical and digital assets are combined is to be explored. Build NFT solutions in identities and credentials to provide solutions to government and educational institutions. And finally, continue to innovate on the NFT Web3 building blocks, adding it to the platform to be able to easily implement known and unknown future use cases, such as zero-knowledge proof, sustainable, quantum-resistant, volumetric, and holographic NFTs. Let's now look at how we can practically execute this plan, discuss the downsides, and why we should still do it. We would like the execution to be agile, iterative, and experimentative. That is, build small bite-sized solutions and test it in the market in short, innovative cycles to receive feedback, and then inspect, learn, and adapt from it. The McKinsey 3 Horizon model for growth is the one we would recommend. This model helps to balance short-term operational efficiency with long-term growth and success. Quickly to explain the model, the graph above has profit or value on the y-axis and time on the x-axis. The first horizon curve is meant to provide value within 6 months to 3 years. The second between 2 and 6 years, and the third horizon is 5 to 12 years. Horizon 1 is to protect the core business that is generating revenue. It is the cash cow. Horizon 2 is for emerging business or new markets. or existing markets. And Horizon 3 is for far out opportunities in the future that are fuzzy, but could have immense potential to take the company to new heights. It is important to note that all three horizons will be worked on concurrently and should not be mistaken to be worked on sequentially. It is just about how many resources are allocated to the three horizons. Roughly about 70% for Horizon 1, 20% for Horizon 2, and 10% for Horizon 3 is recommended. But this can be adjusted based on progress of these initiatives. There is flexibility built in for the items in each horizon as well. Say, if Horizon 3 items are showing faster time to profit, they could be moved to Horizon 2 or Horizon 1. Now that we understand the model, we cherry pick items from our planned buckets of retaining current customers, building security trust, and expanding to new markets to the three horizons that we see in the table on the right. Horizon 1 items would include defending the core items and hence the revenues and increasing adoption with existing products. So this would entail working closely with users for better UI UX, onboarding improvements, security, pricing, revisits, royalty enforcements, top celebrity signups, and Bitcoin ordinals compatibility. What would be the barriers? Barriers would be alienating Web3 diehard users and traders when security and royalty is enforced. And also the competition between Ethereum and Bitcoin could pose some of the user base to not play with going with Bitcoin. But I would still recommend the plan as it is necessary and demonstrates leadership that is good, not just for OpenSea, but also for the industry. OpenSea should have forums to answer the stakeholders' questions and explain the rationale for a more stronger buy-in. Horizon 2 is about emerging business. This would include gaming, ticketing, events, regulatory sandbox, stakeholder capitalism, DAO, metaverse, AI-generated NFT art. The barriers in implementing this would be the need for significant resources to build the compliance and marketing teams. And it could also distract the company from the core business. I would still recommend this as continuous innovation is needed in a saturated market. Also, the investments, especially in the regulatory space, would go a long way in faster building of compliant products in the future. Horizon 3, these entail the pie-in-the-sky ideas with huge profit potential. So phygital NFTs in supply chain, real estate, identities, credentials, futuristic NFTs will play a big part. Barriers for this would be question marks on the viability and may not get enough traction as results may not show for a while. Will need to hire visionaries and experts as well. I would still recommend this as this will be important for the company to not only grow, but stay ahead of the competition. That would be newer entrants like big tech, who may swoop in to seize big pieces of the pie should the healthy growth forecasted in Web3, NFT, and blockchain for the next decade actually pans out. To conclude, OpenSea is a solid company that has grown as a leader over the years. It has faced challenges and now is standing at the brink of another big transformation. The proposed plan of action to be executed in a three-horizon model would ensure an innovative, adaptable, and agile approach. There are downsides and risks, but taking calculated risks will be important for OpenSea to survive, thrive, and transform for greater successes in the future. Thank you.